Hi, it's Brad from TransAudio Group. I'm here with ATC today, and we're talking about near field today, active speakers. So active is different. We just talked about passive, if you saw that video. Now we're going to talk about the active versions. And active is an important designation. It doesn't mean powered. What it means is where you actually have an active crossover before the amplifiers inside the speaker. So in other words, the signal comes into the speaker, goes to the crossover, then to the amplifiers. So you can build separate amps for each driver, and you can match the amp specifically to the driver. So this has a major difference in the way the speaker behaves when you go active, because although a lot of people don't talk about it, the main thing about that is that you can adjust phase. I mean, that's not something that you can really do with a passive speaker. When you have a crossover after the amplifier, you can't adjust that crossover. When you have an active system, you can adjust phase output from the crossover itself, feeding the amplifiers to adjust phase of the drivers so that they all match up. So active also offers some other advantages in that we can custom design the amplifier to specifically match our drivers. So what is ATC's active range? Well, it starts really with the SCM20A. That's our active two-way, our only two-way. And the reason we don't make a lot of two-ways is because two-ways generally suffer from a common problem. They have poor mid-range. And of course, people that know ATC know one of the things we do really well is mid-range. I mean, the ATC mid-dome is a huge part of ATC's mystique. And how do you build a two-way that has really great mid-range? Well, the SCM20 active has a special modification to the driver, to the woofer, that actually grafts a mid-dome cone to the front of the mid-driver woofer inside the SCM20. If you look at that woofer, you'll see there's a really big dome there. This essentially boosts the mid-range output of that driver and enables the SCM20, active and passive actually, to have probably the best mid-range of any two-way you're ever going to hear. So the SCM20A is a really good loudspeaker and totally linear from about 95 all the way through the upper range, using ATC's very best parts, using the same parts we use in our $20,000 monitors to build the amplifier. It's just scaled smaller. It's not cheaper, it's just smaller. We don't use Class D amplifiers anywhere. These are all handmade amplifiers, Class AB, using a MOSFET type output that are handmade inside the factory by ATC itself in England. And just like the drivers are handmade inside, we build all our own electronics, crossovers, everything. So it's a really great way to go about building a loudspeaker, because it's sort of the holistic approach, right? You can build a crossover, you can build the amplifiers, you can build the drivers, you build the box, you build everything, you can control everything. You can get rid of a lot of problems inside the speaker that otherwise you can't fix. Next speaker inside the active range for near fields is the SCM25A. This is the beginning of ATC's three-way. So here we see the introduction of the ATC mid-range, and this is the part that sort of has made ATC unique in the world. We're the only people that manufacture this type of mid-range dome. It's a 3-inch dome with a dual suspension. That's because when you get a dome this large, they have a tendency to rock on axis unless you have a dual suspension, which we have built in. And it has a huge motor on it, meaning that this thing has more power inside the motor, and the motor is the magnet and all the pieces of the sort of the metal behind the cone. Our ATC mid-range driver has probably more driver power in it than most people's woofers. So it has a tremendous ability to follow dynamic range, and it is a really good part. ATC always talks about your quality of sound is only as good as the parts. And that mid-range is a state-of-the-art part which was developed by Billy Woodman of ATC a long time ago and is still used in every model above the 25. 25 and above all have this 3-inch mid-dome inside of it. This is our most popular speaker in Pro. We sell this more than any other because it's really turned into a translation machine. People love the speaker because it translates so well, and because you can, I remember the first time I sold one to somebody well-known who came back to me and said, wow, for the first time I put away my Yamaha NS10s, and I can't believe it. I don't have to run out to the car anymore and check my mix. I just mix to the speaker and it sounds great. we've had a lot of really high quality people make their living on this speaker, and it's certainly something that anybody could use to develop their skill, become a better mixer, because you can hear details that are obscured on other loudspeakers. So the SCM25A is sort of our number one selling active three-way, our least expensive three-way. Model up from this is called the SCM45A. This is very similar to the 25A, except it adds another woofer. And this woofer adds a tremendous amount of advantage, seemingly more than just more bass. It increases headroom. It gives you more low-end support. Instead of rolling off at around 52 like the 25, it rolls off around 42. So it has quite a bit better bass. If somebody tries a 25 and says, oh, I need more bass, 45 is usually perfect for them. And it uses the ATC three-way super tweeter. And because of its ability to translate, and it's got all our best parts, got our ATC-made amplifiers inside, 3 of them, and is all built the same way as all the other speakers. 45 is becoming the speaker that a lot of the top guys in the industry are taking with them when they need portable. And it's not too large to move. It's bigger than 25, so you can ship it around. So the 45 is a really good investment for the guy that needs to do high quality precision work and needs something that he can move around. So there's the ATC near field lineup, the 20 active, the 25 active, and the 45 active. By the way, then either the 25 or 45 are available passive. So when you, any one of these 3 models will get you started in a studio with a good ATC near field. So talk to your ATC dealer about which ATC is right for you. What's great about ATCs, you're not trying to choose which one sounds good, you're trying to choose which one fits your room size. So by talking to one of our dealers, you can get zeroed in on the right size for you and the right model for you. But give them a call and they'll help you figure out which one fits you. So thanks for watching.